Welcome to CVR English. This is Naresh Kumar. Let's watch the world news. US President Donald Trump signed a proclamation to suspend US entry of foreign nationals seeking to study or participate in exchange programs at Harvard University. The White House said on Wednesday, amid an escalating dispute with the Ivy League institution. The order also directs the U.S. State Department to consider revoking existing academic or exchange visas of any current Harvard students who met the proclamation criteria. Last month, the State Department ordered all its mentions of overseas to begin additional vetting of visa applications looking to the travel to Harvard University for any purpose, according to an internal cable seen by media. Harvard argues the Trump administration is retaliating against it for refusing to accede to its demands to control the school's governance, curriculum and ideology of its faculty and students.
I know that you are all up for this fight. I know this because I know you. I've worked here for 50
of retaliation, afraid of deportation. Honestly, 3 domestic students will stand in their place and understand why it is so important to stand united and to stand organized against the Trump administration today.
Well, boys, congrats.
US President Donald Trump praised his Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles, during a summer soiree at the White House on Wednesday, calling her the most powerful woman anywhere in the world. Speaking from a balcony before a cheering crowd, Trump joked that Wiles had so much influence that one phone call and a country is wiped out, before quickly adding, "We are a peace-loving nation." The remarks were part of a speech in which Trump touted his cabinet, claiming the U.S. was entering a golden age.
Patriots, we've never done this before. You know that, right? This is they didn't do it. The previous administration wouldn't have thought of doing it. But we're going to do it for 4 more years. I don't know, maybe 8 more years. I don't know. For free. I'd say I'd like one because we need it as Air Force One. I want to express my gratitude to just about all of my members in the cabinet who are here. They are here in great numbers. I didn't know what they were saying. They said, "I'll see you tonight. I'll see you tonight." And I've been so busy between Iran, Russia, China, and every other problem that we were left that I'm saying, "What the hell is happening tonight?" And then I said, "I'm seeing a lot of thousands of my friends tonight." But I want to thank the members of the cabinet in particular. They've been unbelievable. We have a great cabinet. You see the results every single day. And think of the achievement, and we did that in 4 months. You know, we haven't been here long, 4 months. And I want to thank the great Chief of Staff, most powerful woman anywhere in the world, they say. She got the most powerful woman in the world. One phone call and a group of people, I better not say it. I was going to say one phone call and the country is wiped out, but we're not going to say that because we're a peace-loving nation. We are a peace-loving nation. Susie Wiles, where are you, Susie? There she is. This is bigger, better, stronger than ever before. This one is far bigger than it would have been. This is really something what's happened. But 6 months ago, we had a nation that was as cold as ice. It was cold. The whole world was laughing at us. And they're not laughing anymore, that I can tell you now. Because of the people here tonight, we have the hottest, most talked about country anywhere in the world. I went to the Middle East. We went to Qatar, Saudi Arabia. We went to UAE. We went to 3 stops. We brought back $5.1 trillion. Think of that. 5.1. They ordered massive amounts of military equipment, regular equipment, 200 Boeing aircraft, and we got one for free for the nation. You've been hearing that. In a matter of weeks, we slashed the number of illegal border crossings released into the United States down to practically. This is now the golden age of America. It's a beautiful term and a beautiful country. And we're going to make our nation safer and stronger and prouder, richer, freer, and greater than ever before. And I can give you my word, I'm going to work so hard. We're going to work harder than any president's ever worked. We have to, because we got off to a little rough start. They gave us a very bad hand.
Federal authorities arrested Daniel Jong-hyun Park, 32, at New York's JFK airport after his extradition from Poland. He is accused of supplying 270 pounds of ammonium nitrate to the guy Edward Barkers, who carried out a deadly bombing at a Palm Springs fertility clinic on May 17th. The explosion killed Barkers and injured several others. Park faces charges of providing material support to a terrorist and will be transferred to California to face prosecution.
United States Code Section 2339A, providing and attempting to provide material support to a terrorist. The man who committed a suicide car bombing of the American Reproductive Centers in Palm Springs, California. The sole fatality of last month's act of terror was the bomber himself, 25-year-old Guy Edward Barkers of 29 Palms, California. The bomb injured numerous victims, destroyed the clinic's building, and damaged surrounding buildings and areas, causing a debris field of approximately 250 yards in size. During the investigation, law enforcement learned of Barkers' pro-mortalist, anti-natalist, and anti-pro-life extremist ideology. We also learned that the bomber had help. Mr. Park, who shares Barkers' extremist beliefs, is accused of shipping approximately 180 pounds of ammonium nitrate, an explosive precursor commonly used to construct homemade bombs, to Barkers.
Park was in possession of an explosive recipe that was similar to the Oklahoma City bomb. I think our biggest fear is that fear of the unknown, and that these two subjects weren't really being tracked by any law enforcement agency, and the fact that they could, on their own, put together such
A Russian strike involving 2 missiles and 9 drones targeted Kyiv, injuring 1 civilian and sparking multiple fires. According to Mayor Ihor Terekov, all but one of the incoming projectiles reportedly hit their targets. A fire broke out at a civilian enterprise, injuring a 30-year-old man, and a private home was completely destroyed. Firefighters rushed to the scene as Ukraine continues to face relentless Syria assaults.
3 годину ночі завдавав ударів по місту Харкову. Всього було завдано ударів 9 шахедами по Новобаварському району міста Харкова та 2 ракет. Значить, ракети влучили у нас цивільне підприємство, великі бачимо масштабні пожежі на 4 локаціях в промисловій зоні. Окремо є повністю загоряння і знищення одного житлового будинку приватного.
Там, кстати, трубка сегодня. Я надо вот это где-то попасть.
И тут как раз баба. Ну оно не...
Bulgarian lawmakers clashed during a parliamentary session on Wednesday after the European Commission approved the country's entry into the Eurozone next year, sparking protests by the far-right Revival Party outside Parliament in Sofia.
Предложението не е прието. Налага порицание на народния представител Чуганев. Моля. Подлагам на гласуване 41, 42, 43. Предложението не е прието. Налагам порицание на народния представител Чуганев. Моля. Подлагам на гласуване 41, 42, 43.
The United States vetoed a UN Security Council demand on Wednesday for an immediate, unconditional and permanent ceasefire between Israel and Palestinian militants Hamas in Gaza and unhindered aid access across the enclave. The United States has been clear we would not support any measure that fails to condemn Hamas and does not call for Hamas to disarm and leave Gaza. Acting U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Dorothy Shea, told the Council before the vote.
U.S. opposition to this resolution should come as no surprise. It is unacceptable for what it does say, it is unacceptable for what it does not say, and it is unacceptable for the manner in which it has been advanced. The United States has been clear. We would not support any measure that fails to condemn Hamas and does not call for Hamas to disarm and leave Gaza.
I shall put the draft resolution to the vote now. Will those in favor of the draft resolution contained in document S 2025/353 please raise their hand? Those against? Abstentions? The result of the voting is as follows: 14 votes in favor, 1 vote against, 0 abstention. The draft resolution has not been adopted owing to the negative vote of a permanent member of the Council.
This draft resolution had a simple goal:
demanding a ceasefire that would allow the beginning of the monumental work needed to end the horrific humanitarian situation, to stop the genocide, to release hostages and prisoners, and to get the Israeli occupying forces out of Gaza before they get a chance to implement their plans to destroy our people. As they press on with the mass killing and forcible displacement of Palestinian civilians and theft of Palestinian land. One would have hoped that these minimal demands that are dictated by humanity, by legality, by morality, would have received unanimous support. But unfortunately, they were faced with a veto.
We thank the United States for standing on the right side, for standing on the side of truth, justice, and moral clarity. Thank you for refusing to abandon the hostages and for refusing to legitimize the lies of this resolution.
The U.S. opposition to this resolution should.
More than 1.5 million foreign pilgrims have arrived in Saudi Arabia for the 2025 Hajj, a major Islamic pilgrimage. Hajj, one of the 5 pillars of the Islam, is a spiritual obligation for Muslims who are financially and physically able. Pilgrims are gathering in Mecca and at Mount Arafat despite intense heat. So the authorities have implemented safety measures, including increased medical support, drones, and tree planting to the protect worshippers during the sacred rites. Express on railways in Russia and Bryansk regions are labeling them as deliberate attacks on civilians. The incidents, which occurred on May 31st on June 1st, 2025, resulted in at least 7 deaths and over 120 injuries. Putin condemned the Ukrainian leadership as a terrorist organization and questioned their commitment to peace negotiations. Ukraine has not publicly commented on these allegations.
И террористический акт. И решения о совершении подобных преступлений, конечно, принимались в Украине на политическом уровне. Сегодня на фоне огромных потерь, отступая по всей линии боевого соприкосновения, пытаясь запугать Россию, киевская верхушка перешла к организации террористических актов. И в то же время просят приостановить боевые действия на 30, а то и на 60 суток. Просят о встрече на высшем уровне. Но как же проводить в этих условиях подобные встречи? О чем говорить? Кто вообще ведет переговоры с теми, кто делает ставку на террор, с террористами? И за что их поощрять, предоставляя передышку в боевых действиях, которая будет использована для накачки режима западным оружием, для продолжения насильственной мобилизации и подготовки других террористических актов, подобных тем, которые были осуществлены в Брянске, и террористический акт. И решение о совершении подобных.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's chief of staff Andriy Yermak downplayed the absence of U.S. Secretary of State Pete Hegseth at the recent Ukraine Defense Contact Group meeting in Brussels. Yermak emphasized that the meeting proceeded effectively without Hegseth's presence, highlighting those continued support from the other Western allies. Meanwhile, Yermak was in Washington, D.C., engaging with U.S. officials to discuss defense aid and sanctions against Russia.
But what I definitely know that, as I said, that our cooperation is continue. We are discussed the next steps, and just during these 2 days we have the opportunity to talk, and in White House, in the State Department, and in the Hills. We need more air defense. It's still a very big problem for us because we can't protect our city, and in a difference, as I said in my speech, in a difference of the Russians, we are work for against the especially military objects. Unfortunately, Russia continue attack our civilians. We are victim of aggression, but we are demonstrated, we are clear, we are constructive, and we are do everything and all the best to stop this war. But what I definitely...
French President Emmanuel Macron welcomed Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva to Paris on the first day of the state visit. The leaders also did discuss international crisis and the EU-Mercosur free trade agreement, which France opposed due to the environmental and agricultural concerns. Macron has criticized the deal as outdated and detrimental, advocating for a new agreement that addresses climate and biodiversity issues.
Peut-être. Peut-être. Ici, peut-être, oui. Thank you.
Muslims worldwide have gathered in Mecca for Hajj 2025, one of the Islam's 5 pillars. This sacred pilgrimage, which began on June 4, spans 5 days and involves rituals that have been practiced there for over 1,400 years. Pilgrims don white ihram garments, circle the Kaaba, walk between Safa and Marwa, and perform the symbolic stoning on the Devil are at Mina. The journey culminates with Eid al-Adha celebrations, commemorating Prophet Ibrahim's devotion.
Either got it.
Get them some, get them some.
That's the wrap up of the world news. Keep watching CVR English News.